What's up, YouTube? This is the Woman282. I just finished my my newly modified Xbox recently, and I figured I'd make a video and show you everyone what I've done to it. This is a version 1.0 Xbox. It's been TSOP flashed with the Xecuter 2 5035 BIOS, and it has it runs XBMC for Xbox 3.2.1. It also runs Unleash X, whatever the latest version of that is, and it runs Evolution X and Avalanche. I don't use those two very much, but sometimes you need them, so they're on there. Also, I have complete USA NTSC ROM sets for all of my emulators on the hard drive. I'm not going to show you that because that's just boring, but you know, just for the record, that's on there. And I've also installed all of the downloadable content for every retail game that supports it. I've installed all that too, so I have you know, full game functionality. So right now I'm just going to go over some of the modifications I've made to it to show you guys what I've done. So first off, I'm going to start with the clear case here. This is a crystal clear ghost case I got off ghostcases.com. Pretty nice. It really shows off the internals very well. Also, you notice the jewel here. I took it off, I polished it, and I painted it orange to match the other orange parts inside the Xbox. There's also underneath this jewel there are 8 orange LEDs. They're 5mm LEDs. And they illuminate the jewel and the rest of the top of the Xbox. Down here on the front, I have a white LED inside each of the controller ports to light that up. And underneath each port here on the bottom of the front panel, I also have an orange LED. The same thing that's underneath the jewel. I have one each underneath each port to light that up. You'll notice I've upgraded the hard drive. This is a Seagate 750 gigabyte hard drive. I don't remember the model number of it right now, but this is the largest capacity hard drive you can get that's in the IDE/ATA configuration. I could have gone with a serial ATA. I've been reading reviews on how to do that stuff, and it's kind of hit or miss. It depends on which kind of IDE to SATA adapter you buy, and there's some quirks that really haven't been worked out. So I chose not to go the serial ATA route and get like a 1 terabyte or something like that. I just stuck with IDE, and I'm real happy with it. Also, underneath this, the hard drive tray here, you can't see it. Again, it's going to be in the photos at the end of this video. But I've installed a 40 by 10 millimeter computer fan underneath the square right here, not this one, but this one, to help cool the hard drive. And that connects to the motherboard through a Y splitter. So the main fan back here and the hard drive fan underneath here are connected to the motherboard through a Y splitter, and they both run at the same RPM as whatever's designated by XBMC or Unleash X. You'll also notice here I've modified the disk drive pretty heavily. I took a compass and a pencil, and I drew this arc around here and cut it out with the Dremel. Polished it up, you know, nice and neat where there's no jagged edges. It's not 100% perfect. You know, this is all done by hand, so you know, it's not 100% perfect, but it's like 99% perfect. So, you know, there's some flaws, but you can't tell unless you just really get down with a microscope and look. Also, obviously I've painted the disk drive orange. So I've put 4 orange LEDs on the inside of the case. Just like it's the same LEDs that go underneath the jewel, and it's the same LEDs that are underneath each of the ports. I've put an LED here, 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 and here inside the disk drive. and they help light up the disc, and it looks very nice. Also, I have installed a the internal wireless dongle mod that's popular and it's been going around. That I've installed that, so it's all you know, everything you can use the remote. It's all, you know, it's all nice and neat installed. It does connect to port 4, and I have that installed with a relay. So when there's no controller plugged into port 4, the IR dongle is active. When you plug in a controller to port 4, it deactivates and switches over to the controller. And I'll show you right here. You can see the IR sensor right here is on the front, and I've just run it through the one of the little vent holes right here. Yeah, it just sits out there in the front, and because this is a clear case, I didn't have to drill a hole or anything. You know, it's clear, so it works out great, and it's so discreet you really don't even notice it. Also, I have installed a USB port to port 3, and the port is on the back of the Xbox. I'll show you that in a minute when I turn it around. I'll show you all the modifications I've done to the back too. Alright, and here's one more thing on the front that I've never seen anybody else do. Right here, here's what I have. Here's what I've installed. I call it my indicator panel, and all it is it's just an array of 8 LEDs. I'm sorry, 6 LEDs, and they correspond with each of the controller ports, and the USB port, and the infrared dongle. This Xbox is TSOP flashed. It's no mod chip, which means I can't use one of those LCD screens. I wanted to, but you know, I don't have a mod chip. So this is like the next best thing. So this is how it works. These four LEDs on the top, they connect or correspond with each of the 4 controller ports. So when I plug a controller into port 1, this first LED lights up. Same thing with the rest of them. Now these 2 right here, there's one underneath the 3rd one, and there's one underneath the 4th one. I'll call this LED 3B and LED 4B. LED 3B connects to the USB port on the back, and LED 4B connects to the infrared dongle that's hardwired inside. And so when I plug a device up to the USB port, this LED 3B lights up, and LED 4 and LED 4B switch back and forth depending on if I have a controller plugged up to port 4. I've also replaced the GPU heatsink with a newer model heatsink because this is a version 1 Xbox. I went ahead and did that. I replaced the active cooling heatsink with the passive cooling because the fan died and it didn't work. So I just went ahead and did that. It's better anyway. I've also replaced the thermal interface compound. This that pink glue or something that Microsoft used. I replaced it with Arctic Silver 5 thermal grease, and I get way better cooling capability out of that. Right here you can't see it, but there's this metal grill that goes across the back of the main fan. I've cut that out to slightly improve the airflow. In addition to the airflow, right here underneath this warning label, you can't see it, but I've cut out a square hole right underneath this, and this helps with cooling the hard drive. So what happens is, in an unmodified Xbox, the air comes through the side, and it kind of curves in and goes out the back. It passes over the GPU and the CPU, and it just flows out the back. Well, with this design, the air flows in from the front, and it does go across both of the processors out the back, but some of the air also gets drawn up from the fan underneath the hard drive. Remember that I installed, and so the air that gets drawn up on the underside of the hard drive, it collects the heat, and then this hole that I've cut right here in the back, the fan also draws the heat that's underneath the hard drive out the back of the Xbox, so it helps cool the hard drive too. The old cable was like I think it was a IDE 33 cable or something like that, it was slow. So I upgraded the data cable with an ATA 133 cable. It improves loading times, stuff like that from the hard drive. Also, I have removed the clock capacitor that was on the motherboard. When I took it off, there was some not serious damage, but not minor damage either to the motherboard, where the capacitor had leaked out. And so there is some damage to the motherboard, but it's not super bad. But I removed that, so, and I've cleaned around the area pretty well with alcohol, so there's no more damage going to be done to the motherboard because of that. The only side effect is it doesn't hold the clock anymore, but I mean, XBMC updates through the NTP server for for updating the date and time, so it's not a big deal. Also, something I have not seen in a lot of Xboxes that are modded, I've installed an internal wireless gaming adapter. So this Xbox has built-in Wi-Fi, which is actually pretty nice. I don't have to have an external gaming adapter. I don't have to hook it up to my laptop. It just, it has built-in Wi-Fi. It's awesome. So that's all the main stuff on the front. I'm going to go ahead and show you the stuff I've done to the back panel, and it's just a few more things. So let me turn this around and we'll continue. Alright, here's the back of the Xbox. As you can see here, I've removed the metal grill from the shielding to improve the airflow a little bit. And over here, this is all the modifications I've made to the back panel. Right here on the left hand side, I have my my digital optical audio port, and on the right hand side I have my coaxial digital audio port. Both are for surround sound for my receiver. Right beside that I have I have installed my USB port, and then right beside that I have my my Wi-Fi antenna that connects to my gaming adapter. And let me move this out of the way. You see right there above it is that little button. That's the reset button for the gaming adapter. I've also installed that just in case I ever need to reset the adapter back to default settings. This is not the original Wi-Fi antenna that came with the adapter. This is an upgraded one. The one that came with it was like a little 2 decibel piece of junk, and it didn't pick up. It was crap. So I bought this 5 decibel antenna off of Amazon. It works pretty nice, and it looks a lot better too. And right here, you can see that I have installed this little Ethernet jumper wire, and that connects the. I have an Ethernet extension glued to the top of the original Ethernet port, and it just looks clean, and I've cut it out pretty nice. It looks clean, and it just really looks professional. And then over here on the side here that I'm with my finger on it, this is the sticker that was on the bottom of the gaming adapter. So to give it that that pro look, I took it off and I attached it to the back of the Xbox. And right now I'm covering up my MAC address, so to protect myself. But it's got that professional look to it. Overall, it looks pretty clean, very professional looking. And so that's the back. And alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hook this thing up and turn it on. I'm going to show you that all of my modifications work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I've got the Xbox hooked up to everything. It's ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the lamp off here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's turned on and how awesome it looks and everything. So here we go. It's booting up. You see the top of the Xbox. Jewel lights up. You can see I think maybe you can see the orange LEDs that are inside the disk drive. They also illuminate. the disk drive when there's a disk in there. You can see down here there's white LEDs inside the controller ports. Also have the I did not replace the two system LEDs that are already in there. I told XPMC to turn them red just so they would match the overall look of the Xbox. And then here we have my indicator panel, and you see LED 4B here is lit up. That tells me that that the infrared dongle that's hardwired in is turned on and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that my indicator panel works. So I have here my controller. I'm just going to plug it up to port 1 here, and you notice that the first LED here lights up. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Just like that. See, let's try number 2. Number 2 lights up. Number 3 lights up, just like that. Notice the top LED lit up, not the bottom. The bottom is USB. And then here on number 4, you'll see that the bottom LED will switch over to the top when I plug this in because I have that relay installed. And you might even be able to hear it click. I'm not sure, but here goes. So it switched over, and I'm able to use my controller port. I take it back out, it switches back. So there's that. And I'll go ahead and show you the USB port lights up too. I have a keyboard here. I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in, and you'll see that it lights up just like that. And so, you know, it indicates that the USB port is plugged in. So there's all that. Alright, so here I'm going to show you how the disk looks inside the drive. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the eject button. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. The disk drive was sticking, so I fixed that with a little bit of tape. It's just, you know, I guess that's another mod I've done. It's more like a fix, but whatever. So here I have Star Wars Battlefront 2. I know all of you are saying, man, I wish I had that game. And I know you're all thinking that. So, but here's what it looks like inside the drive. See how pretty it looks spinning up. And you notice the LEDs on the inside of the drive really illuminate the drive and make it look fantastic. Alright, here we're going to take a look at my controller here. I've also modded my controller with LEDs. This is the same controller I was using a minute ago to show you, that the indicator panel works. But when I plug this in, you'll notice that the A, B, X, and Y buttons light up, and also the Xbox logo lights up. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to plug this in, and everything lights up. All the buttons are 100% usable. They're very tactile. You know, there's no stickiness to them. So everything works great, and the logo lights up pretty and white as well. Alright, now I'm going to show you that my infrared dongle mod works. I'm going to prove it to you in the hardware section of XCMC. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the Xbox on. I'm going to show you the screen here. Alright, so we're going to go over here to System. Go over here to System Info. And we're going to go down here to Hardware. Alright, and you'll notice right here, this Xbox is a version 1.0. So right there. And here's my controller ports. So right here on port 3 you see keyboard. That's where the USB port is plugged up to. And here on port 4 it says IR remote. So I'm going to show you that this switches back and forth. So right down here I've got this controller port hooked up to port 1. I'm going to move it over here to port 4. And when I plug it up, right here on controller port 4, it's going to switch over to gamepad, just like that. And when I take it out, it switches back to IR remote. So you have dual functionality on port 4. No functionality is lost because of the relay. And right now I will show you that the Xbox remote does control everything and that it works. Alright, so as you can see, there's nothing plugged up to the Xbox. Nothing at all, not even the keyboard. I took the keyboard out too, and you can see that by my indicator panel here. Nothing is connected. So I have my Xbox DVD remote, got batteries in it, and I'm going to show you that it does work. So here we go. You see that everything I do, it controls it. Go back to system, back, go to programs. You know, I can just control everything. So it works. No functionality is lost because of this mod. So yeah, it works. It works really well. Alright, so I believe that's everything. If anybody has any questions or comments, you know, post them below and I'll answer them, or I'll give you any guidance that you need, or I'll try to at least. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.